Hello everybody, my name is Matt. I'm head of training and enablement here at Finicity, and today we're going to be going over how to order assets, income, and employment through Encompass. First of all, there are a few pieces of information that we'll need to get started in Encompass. We will need first name, last name, social, date of birth, phone number, email, and information about where they live. We'll then go over to the Services tab here, and then scroll down to Order Verifications. Once in this particular tab, you can see that we've got a bunch of things populated here under the My Providers list. Most specifically, it's important to remember that when ordering assets, income, and employment, it is what we call a two-touch system within Encompass as of today's date. Important to understand as well that your borrower will be getting two separate emails. Again, one for assets and one for income and employment. If you want a view of what those two things look like, we have a separate video on the product for our mortgage verification solution that will be going over that. Either way here, you would simply select which one of these you want to go ahead and do. In this case, we can go through assets or employment and then click submit. Here we're taken to the order verification of assets screen for assets. You can see here that we can toggle between 2 and 6 months worth of account history. We can also toggle between the permissible purpose of the loan. Important to note as well, right, that the default here is 2 months and the default permissible purpose is mortgage. So if you're a little worried about maybe one or two of those things getting out of control, just understand that those are the defaults that Encompass has set up for verification of assets. When we're looking at the way that this looks for the borrower experience, we've got the Taylor homeowner and Harley home renter, or borrower and co-borrower. We've got their email addresses here. You can actually toggle between various email addresses if you have more than one listed. For Taylor, we can see that we've got a status of complete, and we've got the date that that was ordered. For Harley home renter, we've actually only got one option, which is to order. And that will be the only option that you'll have for either ordering assets, income, or employment, right? If you haven't done anything, haven't sent the borrower anything, that is the only thing that you can do in terms of toggling through. If you have, obviously you can go and resend that email. Remember that whether you're dealing with assets, income, or employment, the email does have a link that expires within 72 hours. And so if the borrower hasn't interacted with the email at that point, that link will be no longer valid. You can also refresh the report, which we'll touch on momentarily, but that will allow you to order it from here. And then you can also choose which email you would like to be notified from, whether that's your email, the email of maybe a processor or an underwriter that's going to be handling this. Either way, you can choose that here. The actual email that's sent out to the borrower, it can depend on your own financial institution or individual financial institutions as they're being sent out. Either way, it will have the logo of the financial institution that is being represented up at the top. We talk about how the process works, and then we talk about things that we don't do, for example, in their account. Basically here, we're just instilling consumer confidence that we really are looking at the read-only information that they would have otherwise sent over. Again, talking about that 6-day refresh, so a report can be refreshed as many times as needed within a 60-day period. There is no need for the borrower to re-enter their credentials, and after 60 days, the connection is canceled and the borrower will be required to re-permission their data. Again, how to refresh a report, pretty turnkey. Simply log in, click on refresh report, and then click submit. Last thing that we'll be going over is where do these reports live once the borrower has gone through the Finicity Connect experience, either for assets, income, or employment? The answer is really, again, either assets or income and employment. They both live in here. And once we select those, you can see here that in this instance, we've got the verification of assets reports. You can view the PDF version there. And in this version, you can see here that we've got information about both the pay stub report, and then we can actually view the breakdown of the pay stub itself. Most notably, the report ID will be populating here in the GSE additional field. You can see here that portfolio ID under the GSE additional provider data is right here. And that concludes it. There are other videos. If you have other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. That's matt.bradley@finicity.com. Thanks.